All right, guys, welcome into the Auburn Postgame Show brought to you by Medical Properties Trust. I'm your host, Simone Eli, alongside Jordyn Peters this afternoon. Jordyn, this one just went final on the Plains. Arkansas beats Auburn 41-27, which really the score looks like a shootout, though it wasn't. Auburn scored late to cut the deficit a little bit, but 41-27, the final, the Razorbacks beat Auburn at Auburn. It's the first time that Arkansas has beat Auburn in like half a decade, maybe even longer. I think 6 years running was Auburn's streak against Arkansas. And now they come into Jordan-Hare and walk away with a huge win for a struggling program, and really Auburn just continuing to look to not be in a very good place.
Yeah, it was a really tough game to watch for fans, former players, even players on the sideline. I'm sure it's Arkansas. We've never lost to Arkansas, like you said, in 6 years. I can't remember the last time we did lose to Arkansas.
Yeah.
For us to come out and, like you said, the score is really tainted because we scored late. So for us to go through just that, basically a beating from Arkansas like that, it was tough to watch.
A beating from Arkansas, man. It's been a minute since I've heard a beating from Arkansas. As a player, I mean, does it hurt your pride a little bit to lose to Arkansas? I mean, that's got to be just a difficult thing to shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, to me, most definitely, because like I said, I've never lost to Arkansas. Arkansas has always been a game like we count it as like a stat game, a SEC stat game. So I've always made plays like Arkansas. I've like 3 punts against Arkansas throughout my career. So like special teams wasn't really like a key factor. Like we weren't out there making those big impactful plays that we can. It's just a hard-nosed type of game. Like you just get in, you beat the man in front of you. It's not a thinking type of game.
Well, we're not going to hide away from the topic of conversation. Of course, that's Bryan Harsin. During the game, there were some tweets out and about Auburn and discussions with Mississippi State Athletic Director John Cohen about becoming Auburn's next AD. You wonder if after that move, is that when the move for Harsin no longer being at Auburn? Does it happen like that? Does one have to happen before the other? Jordyn, I'm not asking you to put him on the chopping block necessarily, but this is the main thing that people are talking about right now.
Well, obviously he is on the chopping block. Unfortunately, that's just how it is when you come to Auburn and you want to be a head coach. Unfortunately, not unfortunately for him, but fortunately for him, we don't have an athletic director in position right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really look at it, I just thought about this. We're going to Mississippi State to try to get their athletic director to come, another SEC school.
Mm-hmm.
The last AD we had was Alan Green. He was from Buffalo.
Yeah.
Out of conference, and he hired a head coach that was another out of conference coach.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a conspiracy type of idea I just thought of, but it would make sense for us, like maybe just try to come back a little bit closer to home, get a in-conference AD to try to get things back on the right track, if that makes sense.
That's really, really, really great perspective, Jordyn, and a really, really good point. You want somebody who understands Auburn because, quite frankly, Auburn is a very interesting place to understand. I mean, to understand SEC rivalries, just football in the South in general, and nothing against Alan Green, who I have a lot of respect for. It didn't work out. He brought in Bryan Harsin, who had success at lower level Division I schools. It's not working. So to turn to somebody who is in conference kind of makes sense, Jordyn, like you said, to bring somebody who kind of understands Auburn and the challenges and also the great things about Auburn and being the head football coach there. Absolutely. When you, as a player, Jordyn, what's going through your mind? Not that you really had to endure this, but what's going through your mind after this loss in the locker room right now? Kind of where you stand. I think they're on a 5-game losing streak. Should have been 6. With the Mississippi or Missouri game. Just what's the feeling like right now?
Well, I've never had to experience like a streak like this, but it has been times where we felt down like this, and even when Malzahn has sort of we've heard talks of him being in the hot seat, not to this point, but we've heard that. So,
sure.
What we would do as an Auburn man, how these boys should respond, is just buckle down. Like, no matter what's going on around us, we're here. Like, you are your own man. You have to fight regardless. You feel me?
Great mentality, yeah.
So, because if you think about it, coaches come and go, but you as a player, you're still here. You're still writing your resume regardless. So it's definitely going to be tough for those guys, but they have to stay focused and remember that, yes, all this is going on around me, but I have to have tunnel vision on my future, my goals and my aspirations.
Really, really great insight, Jordyn. If you're just tuning in, this is the Auburn Postgame Show brought to you by Medical Properties Trust. Jordyn Peters, former Auburn All-Star on the defense. Simone Eli, not a former Auburn All-Star on the defense. Arkansas beats Auburn for the first time in a long time, 41-27. When you look at the stats, we talked in pregame with Tom Green of AL.com what needed to happen for Auburn to get it done. A big part of that was containing the run. Auburn not able to do that as Arkansas puts up nearly 300 on the ground behind Raheem Sanders. KJ Jefferson looks like an all-star, and he's really a very mediocre, at times. And yes, he can do some dangerous things, but he's not a top caliber dude. And at times he looks like he could do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, he's that type of quarterback. He's dangerous if you let him be dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's just like, period. Like, if you watch, sit there and watch, it's times where we have coverage sacks. He's sitting in the pocket. He's just sitting there.
Yes.
You have those one-on-one blocks. It's guys one-on-one blocks on the D-line. We got to get off those and get him down before he sees that lane to take off and run. Because if you guy that's an athletic guy that has vision, when he gets to that pocket, he knows, like, oh, I've been sitting here for 4 or 5 seconds now. Let me go.
Yeah.
That is going to happen. Like,
how frustrating is that and people are asking if you have any eligibility left, Jordyn. They want to know if you can play. How frustrating is that to get it done in the secondary and not trying to, say negative things about the guys up front, but to not be able to get off those blocks. Obviously, kudos to the Arkansas's, offensive line for the protection. But, when you're hanging in there for as long as you are, it's got to be frustrating to see him take off for 20, 25 yards.
Most definitely. But I'm sure D-line says the same thing when we get bombed on for 20, 25 yards, too. So it's
all a team. So it's team effort.
It's all a team effort, though. It's just one of those times, like, you got to choose how you're going to be a leader. Are you going to yell and get them down, or bring them up like, come on, I need you? It's more of a, I need you to help me do my job, more type of situation. But it's definitely frustrating, like they're not out there trying to not get off a block or something like that. Sure. We are dealing with nursing some injuries up front too, like Kobe Wooten. He's still banged up a little bit. Derek Hall, I don't know how healthy he is. So 2 of our main anchors on that front are really banged up. And that makes sense because you look at Auburn, we just looked at those rushing stats. That's not Auburn football. The last games we gave up over 200 yards plus in rushing alone. And not wishing death on him. He's doing great right now, but Kevin Steele's still alive. But if he was there, he'd be rolling over in his grave right now because no doubt. And it's just,
who knows? Maybe Kevin Steele should be the head coach right now, Jordyn. I'm just saying, bro. I love that dude.
Yeah, great guy. That was my DC all 4 years, so nothing for love for him. He started my football guru, if that's a word.
Yeah, no doubt. I think a lot of Auburn people are a big fan of Kevin Steele and have been for a long time. There was some drama in pregame at the quarterback position. I don't know if y'all saw this on social media, but what happened was Holden Geriner was announced as the starter at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And then the official Auburn Instagram account posted a picture of him and said he was the starter. Well, out rolls Robbie Ashford, who is not Holden. And it was like, okay, what happened? Jordyn, should there have been an opportunity for Holden? I know this is kind of ironic. You wonder if, because it was actually unfolding like this, if there was ever a conversation that Holden could have been the starter. Maybe Harsin will get asked that question in postgame, but should he have gotten an opportunity? Was Ashford doing enough? It's just a lot of the wheels are falling off offensively at times, but and then at times, Robbie Ashford is who Robbie Ashford is. Like the guy is athletic. He can kill you sometimes, and sometimes he could do some great things. Just kind of should Holden have gotten an opportunity?
That's one of those iffy questions because yes, he's still young, just like Robbie. So I don't really feel like throwing him out there too early at this point in the season is really gonna.
What if he pieces out? Is he the future? This is a guy who, all these guys want red shirts and they want to hang on and buy another year. Could Harsin or could Auburn lose him? Should he not get any playing time?
I just really think Harsin has more to worry about right now than that.
Honestly, Jordyn, you're right.
To be honest, I really felt like it was another thing. Like maybe we weren't going to use TJ at all, trying to keep him healthy or something. But we know we need that. Robbie needs that little fire up under him, like knowing somebody's back there, maybe.
Yeah.
But like Robbie, he didn't play absolutely horrible this game. Like it wasn't a horrible game. Like he played well.
Right.
But I really don't know. That's more of I'm a defensive minded guy, so I don't know.
It's just bizarre.
that's a bizarre situation to go.
The whole thing's a bizarre situation, and you're right in that there are kind of bigger fish to fry, so to speak. Although winning would certainly help
Yeah.
the fish to fry for Brian Harsin. Moving forward, the road is not going to get any easier for Auburn. We were talking about this in pregame. Let's just look at this was probably the most winnable SEC game left on the schedule, if we're just being honest. Next up for Auburn is at Mississippi State, the damn Cowbells we got to deal with. Then at home against Texas A&M, the Iron Bowl. Western Kentucky's in there. Western Kentucky isn't that bad either. I mean, they're not. So what has got to give here? Do you roll with Harsin through the end and let it go out in a blaze of fire, or do you try to right the ship?
And that's what I'm saying. Like at this point, because with Malzahn, like our season was polar opposite. Malzahn's not polar opposite. Let me take those words back, but it wasn't this drastic.
Sure.
And still let him out, let him go. So at this point, it's just more like, oh, is it gonna happen this week? I feel like that's how everybody's thinking. Like, when is it gonna happen? And I do think, like we said earlier, us not having an AD situated just yet could be caused to the debate. It could be money issues because we're still paying Malzahn. We just paid Harsin this money to come in. Now we're gonna fire him with however many years left on his.
I'm glad I'm not working the books in Auburn.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's a lot of outside factors, and we're in a really stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yes.
Lack of better words.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Lots of things to keep an eye on. I would say over the next couple of days. One, will Brian Harsin be doing his weekly press conference on Monday, or will they make a change prior to Monday? Two, will Auburn hire an athletic director, and will that be announced sometime in the next couple of days? A lot of that was kind of leaking out during the game. So what is next for Auburn really is the question. Obviously, as for the players, you have to stay focused. Jordan, you said this a minute ago, and just worry about writing your own resume. I love that saying, and it's true. It's true, because regardless of what happens to Brian Harsin or the athletic director situation, you're still a player at Auburn. You are still writing out your future, whether you transfer after the year or whether you're there for the remainder of your career. You have to focus on yourself, right?
Exactly, and that's just being a pro before you're in the pros, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You can't be focused about outside factors and things like that. That goes along with life also. Like, if you have 1,000 things going on outside of your work life and you're not focused on work, you're not going to get paid. You're not going to see the fruits of your labor. And it's the same thing with this. Like, yes, all this is going on around me, but I'm here for a reason. And what do I need to do to better myself?
Yep, you're absolutely right. Lots to keep an eye on. Appreciate the comments that we're getting today on the Auburn Postgame show, including the guy who says I should be the interim head coach. I'll take on that role. I'll take that buyout money. I'll go lose 5 games in a row and take that money. I'm fine with that. I'll live the rest of my life pretty happily with that money. All right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in the Auburn Postgame show brought to you by Medical Properties Trust. For Jordyn Peters, I'm Simone Eli. We will see you next week as the Tigers travel to Starkville, Mississippi for a date with Mississippi State and none other than Mike Leach. Y'all have a great college football Saturday.